Are your employees struggling? Hi everyone, my name is Tom and I'm EZRA's Global Master Coach. And today in this video, we're looking at ways in which professional coaching is a really powerful tool to help your employees with their well-being. Here at EZRA, when we talk about coaching, we are actually talking about a paradigm of learning. We call it professional coaching, and it is an active learning paradigm. So a coach works with a person over time to help them look at themselves differently and create really powerful intentional learning actions to get them to where they need to go. And the real key thing that happens in there is there's a lot of self-awareness that happens. The coach is very skilled at helping an individual look at themselves differently and become more aware. With that awareness, people can be more intentional at moving effectively forward. And that's really what coaching is about. It's a learning paradigm over time in which someone becomes more effective at seeing themselves and being intentional at how they want to move forward and become more. As you can imagine, I could talk about coaching all day, and this is a YouTube video, and that's just going to be way too long. If you want to find out more about how the process of coaching works or anything else, check out this video here. All right, all of that said, let's get into it. Purpose and direction. It is so easy for us to get lost in the noise of work. I know that for me, I get thousands of emails and back-to-back meetings, and it just seems to sometimes be so much noise. I wonder, what am I doing and what matters? And I find that when I'm speaking with coachees, I often hear this. They don't know how what they're doing is even seen or matters in any kind of way. As a result, they lose their kind of will to kind of step into it. But when they step into this space, what we can do is, as coaches, is help them find their meaning, find their strengths, find their connection. And when they do that, they tend to step out with more confidence and more purpose in how they move forward. And this absolutely brings up their level of how they feel. A safe space to explore. As we can imagine, we're navigating all sorts of challenges in an organization. You can have challenging relationships, you have hierarchy, you have trust where we have to worry about what we say and whether or not we'll be judged and who's going to interpret what. In the coaching frame, it's a place for an employee to step outside with someone who's external to their organization and who is credentialed and has a code of ethics around confidentiality. Basically, as a coach, whatever I talk about with a coachee is confidential to us, which is exactly what makes them able to step into it, to share it, open it up, let it out. Sometimes that's what they need to do, let it out. And then they can explore and find in it what's theirs, right? So the safe space, in essence, is a place for them to actually maybe look at themselves differently without judgment. Communication skills. Oddly, this is actually a really kind of complex point to speak to, but if we try to narrow it down, in essence, people will come into coaching and they're having challenges with relationships and how they communicate, and they want to improve their communication. But really what's happening is they're finding that how they're communicating or being perceived is not the way they want to be. And that impacts their relationships, their trust with different people. And more often than not, what's happening is they think they're communicating clearly because they know what they're saying, and they're not aware of how the audience is hearing them. And so in the coaching frame, what the coach can do is help them pull apart how they communicate, how they land, and start looking at the ways they might land differently, which includes, by the way, helping them learn how to listen to their audience better and to be able to understand and react to their audience better. Time management. It's really easy to just do and do and do. And I run into this a lot actually with new leaders who are stepping into the space and they're used to doing a lot. Now they have to actually also delegate and manage their team and figure out what their team is navigating. And more often than not, what's happening there is they're constantly running and not pausing to look. And in the coaching frame, what we can do is we can help people step outside of the noise again, see where are they using their time, where by slowing down and pausing and looking, do they actually end up getting more time. And that's actually one of the fun paradoxes that I find most new leaders discover is when they pause and reflect, which they first will say they don't have time for, they then end up saying, wait a minute, I now have more time. How is that possible? Confidence. This is a key thing that happens in coaching, and it happens in coaching regardless of what people come in for, by the way. The frame itself is designed to help people find and notice and own their strengths and their accomplishments. So in the coaching frame, whatever we're working on, wherever we're going, whatever the goal is, part of what we're doing is we're helping the individual basically mitigate that imposter syndrome, stop that inner critic voice, and really look at what they've achieved, what the strengths are they have, and to own them. And it's amazing, I find as a coach, which is a fun thing, how bad we are as humans with this. We judge ourselves relentlessly, and we pause and we don't even notice or accept feedback that's good when we get it. And as a coach, what we do is we'll help people see and own the things they've done. Again, I'm repeating myself, but it's really important. The things they've done, the strengths they have, and when they do that, you can watch them. We see it. You can kind of go from like this, like, and then as we help them see it, they sort of shift. And it's because they're owning more of who they are and what they can do. And in essence, professional coaching is a strength-based, forward-moving approach. So we help them find the strengths first and then leverage them to close the gaps. Relationships. As humans, we tend to be quite judgy. In relationships, however, this tends to work against us. And because relationships matter so much, we tend to sit in that judgment because we're worried about what the other person's thinking. But that tends to be a feedback cycle. In a coaching frame, what we help people do is to notice our judgments, notice our mindset, notice where we're assuming certain things about the other person and how that's affecting our behavior. And when we see that, we can choose different behaviors and different approaches. We can assume positive intent, find our compassion, and when we do that, we are much more effective at shifting how we approach those people to invite them into a better relationship with us. Work-life balance. By stepping out of all of that noise into the space where we can self-reflect, and a coach will help you self-reflect, it can help an individual see where are they setting boundaries, where aren't they setting boundaries, where are they not setting boundaries because they're assuming they can't, where do they have control, essentially. And helping them regain and own their control in it, and courage, frankly, sometimes to set boundaries. And when they do that and prioritize what essentially is self-care, they can be more effective at work and have more balance. Leadership skills. In essence, leadership is about our ability to inspire or invite someone else to follow in a given moment. And by the way, that applies sideways, downwards, upwards in terms of hierarchy. But in the corporate world, often it means, well, I have a bunch of people and how am I going to invite them or inspire them to perform and to trust me and so forth. In the coaching frame, it's a space for especially new leaders, but I will say this, even existing leaders, to step outside of the noise, look at how they're assuming things, how they're coming across their people, take in feedback from their people, learn from it, and then be intentional in how they shift themselves or change how they approach their people. And when they do that, it can lead to more trust from their people, it can lead to more team cohesion, and as a result, the leader will feel better, their team will feel better, and well, there's well-being for you. Navigating change. There's a fun irony in this, because as humans, we're highly adaptable, and yet we hate getting faced with change that we didn't ask for or didn't expect. And when we get faced with that, we have a tendency, we have to go through what's the change, known as the change curve, and there are milestones in this. So the beautiful thing in this is what a coaching frame does is, because it's bespoke, meaning it's customized to the individual in front of me, basically we can invite them in and we can help that human connect to their adaptability in order to navigate that curve far more effectively. All right, and there you have it. In today's video, we've looked at ways in which professional coaching can help your employees' well-being. However, there are so many ways in which it can help, and we'd love to hear ways in which it may have helped you or helped your employees. Please share in the comments if you've got any other examples. Thank you so much for watching, and we will look forward to seeing you next time. If you've enjoyed this video, please do subscribe, join our channel, join our community. We'd love to have you.